No, it's nature time.
Well, that was fun. Poor Galen. He's a busy millennial like me, probably like you, and although we're not tree huggers, we are looking for strategies to reconnect us with the outdoors. I've got a great strategy for you today that's quick. I know you're busy, so I don't want to waste your time. Today's exercise will take you about 5 minutes to do, and it's perfect for you busy moms and dads, as well as you non-parent millennials. And doing this with your kids is great. Hey there, I'm Koaw of Koaw Nature, and this is the first video in a series of videos that is going to be all about reconnecting my fellow millennials with nature. And I've been doing tons of research, checking into stuff, and looking up the best ways to inform my fellow millennials, especially millennial parents, as to how to reconnect themselves with nature, the health benefits, the reasons why we can't be too dependent on our smartphones as much as we love them, and all of that. Today's video is not so much about divulging all this cool information I've been getting into, but rather it's about sharing a very cool activity that's very, very simple to do. We're just gonna go outside and think for like 5 minutes. Seriously. And I'm gonna break this down into 4 super easy steps. And this can be done on your own, or with your kids, or with a friend, or 2 friends, or with a group. And parents, this is not only a great activity for you, but also for your kids, because it will aid in their cognitive development. Humans did not evolve with smartphones. And although I agree that there are some awesome learning tools that we can and should utilize with our technology, we cannot forget about the outdoors, the fact that we develop our intellectual capacity by interacting, especially as a child, with nature.
Yay!
Okay, voy a poner aquí, ¿ya?
So I take my nieces out on Thursdays. That's our day of nature. That's Leona, and that is LP. I make sure that they're getting to explore and learn about the outdoors. So if you can, go find some kids and do this with them. And quickly, before I drop these 4 steps, I just want to ask you to subscribe. Click over there. It's really easy, and you stay notified of my future videos. And I know you're going to want to share this video with your gal pals or bros after you're done watching this, so keep a share in mind. So step 1, go outside. So find a close spot that you feel offers an adequate amount of wildlife. For city dwellers, find your nearest park, or even a bench near a patch of grass, or near a tree, or that little weed growing between the cracks. Just be near something alive, like plants or animals. You can watch some birds in the sky. And step 2, pick your pondering position. Once you've found your nook, get into a pondering position. This could be the regular sit down, the stand up, the thinker, the prone, the supine, or whatever's comfortable for you. And as you know, young kids really won't have the capacity to sit in one spot for a while, so for them, let them have their little area and let them do as they please in that little area. Step 3, absorb and create. You're going to do this for 3 to 5 minutes. So this is where you stare at a nearby dangling leaf in a tree, or at some wild growing plants, or at a stream, or at the sky, and you're going to fathom a single question about wildlife, or the ecosystem, or science, that you do not have the answer to off the top of your head. I'm not expecting you to be a science geek at all. This channel is for the non-scientist millennial. So whatever you think of is good. Just don't have the answer already up there, alright? And if you have your kids, make sure that they're getting a question ready too. Although kids are already quite curious and full of questions. Are the trees native to this area? Why is the sky blue? What kind of bird is that? Overall, let your kids do their thing while you do yours.
Why the leaves get down when it's like fall?
That's a good question.
And what is the name of the seeds?
Very good. These are good questions.
And what is the mother of the animals?
Very good.
What is the mama of the cows?
All right, we will answer all of these. Good work,
And
ladies.
what is
Okay, the last step, step 4. answer your question. If you brought your phone, now is the time to whip it out and get Googling. If you went with a group or your kids, ask the questions to the group and get a conversation going before you do a quick research of the answer. To get the answers to the questions that you looked up, a simple Google search is often good, but be wary, okay? There are some sites that I want to tell you about that are better than others, and they're free. First off is wikipedia.org. And yes, it is a public encyclopedia. That means anyone can contribute to it, but I've noticed with scientific articles, especially about animals and other things relating to science, that the scientists within those fields actually check up on those sites and they get alerts. So usually the information is good, and I always like to back check the sources on those sites, and sometimes I do find errors. But you can also do Google Scholar. So within Google, if you just type in Google Scholar, you'll be taken to Google Scholar and you can actually search for more journal-like research topics. Also, what is even better perhaps is just to check out your local and federal government sites, such as NOAA, NASA, and your state's Natural Resource Department Wildlife Management site. And all of these sites will end in .gov. They won't have spyware, they won't have viruses. They're free. They're free to use because that's public domain. That's why you pay taxes. So again, subscribe if you haven't. Click over there. Share this video with your homies, and if you want to consider being a part of Koaw Nature on Patreon, there's a link down below in the description. I know I had something else to say. What else was it?
Hit the
And
square.
think and look for more videos of Koaw and their naturaleza.
Yeah. I hope you get out and spread some knowledge and be nature heroic. Cheers.